station of decapitation without your head.
Well, welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil.
I'm Treacherous Trista.
And we're joined by Vera and Kendall Whelpton, the makers of the documentary Sleepless Unrest, which you can read on his very cool glow-in-the-dark hat, The Real Conjuring Home, which opens July 16th in theaters and video on demand. It's good to have you guys here.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. So when did, for people who don't know, explain what Sleepless Unrest is about.
So, imagine, some friends coming together on a little adventure, and, the location just happens to be the Real Conjuring Home. Vera and I jumped in the car with our cameras and met up with Brian and Rochelle, some paranormal investigators, and, met the Heinzens who own the house, and they invited us to move in with them for a couple weeks. And, we just documented everything. It was, at the beginning, it was just, a typical adventure to go meet up with some friends. But, after the days went by in the house, we started really learning what the house had to offer.
Along those lines, so you go there and you're filming, and you said, first you're just getting together to see what's going on. How did you know going in you're going to make a documentary, or does that come about while you're there?
So we were invited to investigate for fun because Brian and Rochelle are friends, and the Conjuring movie is like actually Kendall's favorite movie of all times, and I liked it too, but I was more chicken when I watched it for sure. But I told them I need motivation. If I'm going to put myself through the torture, give me a task. And I don't know, a lot of filmmakers find this it's very comfortable to be behind the camera. It's almost like a security blanket when you're behind camera and you're focusing, on a task and the scene and trying to like maneuver. So that made it easier for me, to be honest, to be holding the camera and filming and thinking of work. And because it was nerve-wracking. I was pretty scared. I didn't know what to expect. And so all in all, that's how it came about. I told Kendall, I'll go if I film. And he said, are you curious? Like, that's a country house. I don't know if we can film. And I told them, well, let's ask. There's nothing to lose if we ask them, the owners, and the owners said they would allow us to film. So we called them and we were super nervous, and they were amazing. They were just totally welcoming. They said, absolutely. In fact, that's their goal when they purchase the home, is to share that with the public and to actually, show that it's real. Mm-hmm. That things are happening to them, and that was an honor. I mean, we were honored to be given this opportunity to actually film in their location, and we didn't know. It's like nothing might happen. It might be all Hollywood, but to our surprise, by the third or fourth day, things started happening.
Mm-hmm. So how did you find them? Like, did they contact you, or did you contact them once you found out they bought the house?
Yeah, Brian Murray, who I worked with on the show Ghost Hunters, and Rochelle Stratton, who I worked with on Ghost Hunters. Brian called me up one day. Vera and I were actually at another location staying, and he said, "Hey, man, how would you like to come and hang out with us at the Conjuring Home?" And that was basically it. I mean, the
story goes a little back. So Jay Blumke, who is an EP, had an event at the Conjuring Home. So he knew the Heinzens. He had an event. He called you to be part of the live.
Yeah.
And you told him, hey, how about Brian and Rochelle? So Brian and Rochelle got introduced to the Dark Zone show, to the Heinzens. And Corey Heinzen is an ex-Marine. Brian Murray is an ex-Marine. They totally hit it off. Yeah. And they stay in touch. Then after that, it was a month later, Brian called you. He's like, hey, they asked me to go to the Conjuring Home to investigate. Let's go. And it was supposed to be just all friends, just pure investigation for fun. And like I said, I told Kendall, let's film. And Kendall's like, let's do it. And he geared up the car. I mean, the car was packed. What you see in the film, it's real. Like, it was completely packed in gear. And it was just the two of us.
Yeah.
And
I mean, this is during COVID, so it was like,
yeah, production was down. We couldn't hire.
We did it all. I mean,
and it was just all of us that trust each other, really. And the place was closed from tours and everything because of COVID. And it was just us secluded in the cabin.
It made it better like that without a huge crew and stuff. It was, you know, it was just us documenting. It was challenging, but it just, there was something about it that, you know, the less people around and, you know, just us documenting our experiences. That's kind of what the documentary became. Is it just kind of happened that way, you know. Usually you go in with a crew and you kind of, you know, you go and you plan all this stuff, but this was just kind of fly by the seat of your pants and see what we can capture, you know.
We ended up on camera as well as part of everything because we wanted to put cameras everywhere. Yeah. And how do you hide from cameras when you're sleeping in the place? You know, it was impossible. So we had to immerse ourselves within the story. That's how it happened.
We had cameras on us when we slept, and I think the only place we didn't have a camera was in the bathroom. That was.
There's only one bathroom for everybody. One bathroom, one shower, and it was the most scary thing ever. I did on my GoPro. I had my GoPro with me because if something happens, I'm gonna capture it. Because I know something's gonna happen while I'm naked in the shower because I feel like somebody's watching me. It was really, really scary. And I'm not the only one. Rochelle actually said she was very, very scared in the shower as well.
Nice. Trista, do you have a question?
Can you guys talk about some of the equipment that you use in the film?
Yeah, so for the paranormal investigation equipment, we had a DVR camera system that was rolling all the time. The Heinzens have a DVR system that has, I think, like 10 to 12 cameras, and then we brought our DVR system, which is audio and video, which had 6 cameras on that, all IR. So we had the house wired. It was like Big Brother, you know. It was just cameras everywhere. And then for investigation equipment, we had the spirit box, which was very interesting. Vera and I got introduced to that the first time. John Huntington, who is just,
he was a caretaker.
Yeah, the caretaker. Phenomenal results out of that. I've never seen anything like it. What else do we have? We had the Paralight, which was pretty neat. We had this music
for the first time.
Yeah,
we used it for the first time.
Yeah, we had this music box motion sensor that was really neat.
It was handmade by someone in England, friend, you know, part of the paranormal community, and did he gift it to you?
Oh no, that wasn't the music box. That was that's a proximity sensor. Yeah,
that's Brian Rochelle's music box. Yeah, they brought that.
Yeah,
yes.
And then we had a camera that a really neat scientific camera. That's it's a EMC-CD camera. It's a photon camera. So the photon camera captures photon events, and there's a theory that you know, paranormal activity happens. It's discharging photons. So we had that camera. We had a thermal camera. We had audio. We had actual old school audio recording. We did some tape, you know, some old tape with a condenser mic, which was kind of cool. We kind of mixed the old and the new and tried that. I mean, we threw everything we had at it, and I can't think of anything else we might have brought.
We had all kinds of stuff. Cat balls.
Cat balls, yeah, that's right. The cat balls were fun.
Which they would light up once in a while. Yeah. But, you know, like, I'm 50-50. I'm a little more on the skeptical side. I'm super analytical. I try to question everything. I annoy him a lot with my questions sometimes, but I think that's what makes us a good team.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I'm definitely more on the skeptical side. But I have to say, the spirit box, like, I've seen this in some other things, but it was like, to me, like the most clear directions. You can clearly hear it, you know, saying right and left. And I thought that was pretty wild, honestly. What was like when you're using that? You said you never used it before, so I don't know how you could compare it to other times someone else has used it.
That's a good question. I've seen it being used before. We just never used it because we were like,
I didn't like it.
We weren't convinced. I mean, that was the first question Corey Heinzens, the owner, asked us. How do you feel about this Playbook? It's very controversial. You either like it or you hate it. And we were like, we don't know. And you plain said, I don't like it. Yeah. I don't think it's something valid. But then he was like, okay. And then he did a session.
I gotta say, like, I heard it say Vera's name. I heard it say my name. I heard it swear, which if it swears, it's not on the radio, which, you know, if you swear on the radio, you're getting
on
fined.
command by, asking it.
Yeah, Corey asked it to swear, and then it swore. And it's like, how the heck is this thing doing that? You know, and it's like, I don't know, it's a Radio Shack radio. How is that even possible? So it really, it got me. I was like, okay, there's something to this, you know, it's interesting.
It could be your brain wanting to hear a specific
Yeah,
word.
that's how I usually look at that kind of stuff. But it was much more like, it really, you can really hear it say right and left, and that.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what that specific piece made it to the film, because we're like, okay.
It was very intriguing.
Now I'm scratching my head because
Yeah.
I don't know if I can explain that.
And it interacts with John a lot. Like John's like,
weird.
We call him Magic Boy because he was like, that thing was like just talking to him a ton. It was very interesting.
It was like he had a relationship with something. I don't know. It was really creepy.
When Vera said that, you know, it's challenging, some of the stuff in it, like the bridge and going down the well, even regardless if anything's haunted, like, you know, this could be dangerous things. Was there anything that was like dangerous to do just because you're in an old house, you're out at not too many people?
You know, I think for us, I've been to a lot of locations, and like for me, I'm just like the curious cat that wants to get in it, you know? And so like, I don't know, I like adventure and stuff.
He's wild. He's fearless. I'm cautious. I'm more scary cat. I don't even know. I love this stuff. I absolutely love the research and the production of everything. I have to kind of
pull me back a little bit.
Pull them back a little bit.
But yeah, danger, I don't know. I think the well was probably
Danger is his best friend. He was like the bridge, you know, going like, seriously, like, do you have to go there? Like, no, you don't. But
well, I mean,
anyway.
because if you hear a noise coming from somewhere, you got to go see, you know, make sure.
Yeah, that seems very wise. Yeah. Tristan, you have another question?
What were your respective scariest moments in the cabin?
That would be a question for you.
I had a lot. I mean, okay, so there's several, and there's so much that didn't make the film because, to be honest, we had a lot of personal experiences, like each of us, all of us. But at the end, it just ended up being a personal experience, and it didn't come across camera as a strong physical evidence. So we didn't include any of that. All of us experienced creepy stuff, and I got touched one night. I felt like a finger poking my rib really hard, and
while you're sleeping.
It woke me up, and I kicked the blankets. I didn't want to look because I felt like something was there, and it was painful. I just started praying. To be honest, that's what I do. That's just me. I was just like, please, whatever you are, just go away. And my analytical mind kept thinking, well, maybe it's a cramp. You know, maybe I'm so scared that I'm frozen and I'm just moving here. So now my muscles start just kind of tense and twitching, and maybe it's a nerve, pinching a nerve. But it continued. Anyway, to my surprise, I told Jan, the homeowner, the next morning, and she said, oh, that's a claim that happens all the time. People complain of side pain all the time. And apparently it goes all the way back to the parents, the original family that lived there. I had no idea. Cindy parent apparently used to get tortured at night.
Tormented.
Yeah, physically.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what to make of that. But that was pretty scary. You got touched too?
Yeah, I mean, that was a personal experience, but
again, he doesn't get scared.
He's
like, yeah, touch me.
That was the first time ever too. It was actually really like, I don't know, it was peaceful actually. Down in the basement, I put my arm out and asked for it, and I felt a very nice, like, kind of movement across my arm. I was hoping we caught it on camera, like my sleeve moving or something, but physical. That's why I didn't make the movie, because, you know, we have to, if every personal experience has to be backed up with, you know, some kind of evidence, you know, otherwise
we're just, it's a
ghost story.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's why we're doing this is to document so we can show you, you know, that's the whole goal here.
That's
But-
my personal goal,
Yeah.
you know. 'Cause I experienced things throughout my life, and I witnessed my parents talking about it. They both grew up in haunted houses. My grandfather was a treasure hunter. You know, he believed that huntings were to do with the Spanish leaving treasures there, and they were attached to it. You know, like it goes generations back. But for me, it's like I want the evidence. I want to capture it. That's what's intriguing for me. And as far as scary, just real quick, if you want to talk about the film,
Yeah.
what made the film, the dining room, that was terrifying, and the
Yeah.
audio, the
Yeah.
cameras didn't capture at all what it sounded like.
Yeah.
That sound that you remembered, you heard, that sound, the cameras didn't even
It
do
was
justice.
two boom, boom on separate sides of the house.
Like a second apart,
And you
the
see me
pressure, you
whip over,
feel.
and then I go back over, and it just confused us. It was so loud, and yeah, that got us. I ran over. We went outside, you know, trying to figure out what was going on, and yeah, that was scary. The proximity sensor, you know, in that room, that new room that they opened up for us.
Yeah, that was pretty
Going
cool.
off.
You know, you being the first people up in the attic.
Yeah, I mean, Jen Heinzens surprised us with that one. We're like, wait, what? You're gonna let us go somewhere where nobody's ever been? Like, how is that even
That's pretty
possible?
awesome.
Yeah.
They give us the red carpet. It was amazing.
Something interesting I thought is kind of the idea is is the house haunted, is the land haunted, and I just want to know kind of what is your definition of haunting, of something being haunted.
If you know, so it's hard to say
Yeah.
that ghosts exist, and because there's the technology and science and, you know,
I don't have
everything.
proof, really.
Everything hasn't like caught up to that yet, but you know, we go off of people telling us stories about their experiences and some of the footage that's been documented. So we think there's something more to all of this. And if we were to kind of, you know, give a hypothesis about what's going on at, you know, the Real Conjuring Home, I would say that there's multiple levels of activity happening, not just one single thing. I feel like it's very personality kind of based reactions interaction. It's inside and outside the house.
To me, there's something in the land. I mean, we got the opportunity we talked to the neighbor. You know what happened to the neighbors. We mentioned the neighbors in the film. So we called them because of COVID. We couldn't interview them. We kept this super tight and in control. But we were able to talk to them on the phone, and they were so happy to talk to us about their experiences, and they were happy that somebody was actually giving them an ear because they also are experiencing things, and it goes beyond. I mean, the Heinzens own 8 acres.
Yeah.
I don't know how many acres the neighbors do, but it's a lot of property. And the claims in there, I mean, there's just intense. I think we barely scratched the surface,
Yeah,
to be honest.
definitely.
Like, I would love to go back and do more research, especially regarding the land.
Yeah, it's definitely the area. I mean, there's multiple. There's lots of encounters in the area. The Bridgewater Triangle's kind of nearby, which is very active for sightings of things.
But to answer your question, as far as what we think a haunting is, how we think a haunting is born, or what produces a haunting, we found a pattern related to tragic events. Anything that's known generally in the general public. And
yeah, I would say that's a good assumption, is that, you know, that King Philip's War that had happened there was very bloody. There was a lot of land disputes in the area.
It's old. The house is 300 years old.
Very
it's been
old.
owned by several people. But there's no historic records of tragedies in the house. Like, not that we know of. I mean, apparently there's a lot of misinformation regarding this house.
Regarding the house, yeah.
Interesting. Well, Sleepless Unrest, The Real Conjuring Home, July 16th in theaters, which was very cool. Theaters are open again, and on video on demand. And it was very cool to talk with both of you.
You too. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Appreciate
having us.
everything.
Have a good day.